Seasons of change and transformation can be some of the most challenging and demanding times in our lives. When we are faced with significant changes, it can feel overwhelming and difficult to understand why things are shifting so drastically. Often, these changes can make us question everything we thought we knew about our lives, our purpose, and our future. It's not uncommon to feel lost or disoriented during these periods. As Christians, we believe that God has a plan for each of us, and this plan unfolds in ways that are sometimes unexpected and hard to comprehend. The nature of these changes can be surprising, and they might not always align with our own ideas or expectations. We might find ourselves on a path we didn't foresee, grappling with circumstances that challenge our comfort zones and push us into unfamiliar territory. For many, the difficulty lies in recognizing that these shifts are part of a divine plan crafted by God. The journey through these changes can be arduous, but it is essential to remember that they are not arbitrary. Instead, they are integral parts of a larger design that God has prepared for us. Understanding that these transitions are part of a grander scheme can help us approach them with a sense of purpose and direction. It's crucial to be aware of the signs that indicate God is guiding us through a period of transformation. These signs can be subtle, and they might not always make sense at first. However, recognizing them can provide comfort and reassurance, helping us navigate the changes with a sense of confidence and trust in God's plan. One of the most common feelings during a time of transformation is a deep sense of restlessness. This restlessness is not simply about feeling bored or dissatisfied. It's a profound stirring within our hearts that something significant is shifting. It's as though we are unsettled in our current circumstances because there is a deeper, more meaningful direction that God is calling us towards. This feeling is not intended to make us unhappy, but to ignite a longing for something greater and more fulfilling. If you're experiencing a sense of unease or discomfort with your current situation, it's important to recognize this as a potential sign from God. It might be that He is preparing you for a new phase in your life that requires change and growth. Rather than resisting this feeling or trying to ignore it, take the opportunity to seek God's guidance through prayer and reflection. Ask for clarity and understanding about the direction He might be leading you. This openness can help you align yourself with God's will and prepare you to embrace the changes that are on the horizon. Embracing this sense of restlessness can be challenging, especially if you are deeply attached to your current situation. Change often brings a mix of emotions, including fear and uncertainty. It's natural to feel anxious about leaving behind what is familiar. However, this discomfort is a sign that God is at work, prompting you to move towards something new. By acknowledging and addressing these feelings, you can better prepare yourself to follow God's guidance and take the necessary steps towards your new path. Moreover, recognizing that restlessness is part of a divine plan can provide a sense of peace amid the uncertainty. Understanding that these changes are not random, but are part of God's purposeful design, can help you approach them with faith and optimism. Even though the process might be difficult, knowing that there is a greater purpose behind the transformation can offer comfort and reassurance. During times of change, it's also helpful to surround yourself with supportive and understanding individuals who can offer encouragement and perspective. Sharing your experiences with others who have gone through similar transitions can provide valuable insights and support. Sometimes, hearing others' stories can help you see your own situation in a new light and offer practical advice for navigating the changes. In addition to seeking support from others, it's important to spend time in personal reflection and prayer. This spiritual practice can help you stay centered and focused on God's guidance. Regular prayer and meditation can provide clarity and strengthen your connection with God, helping you to discern the direction He is leading you. It can also help you manage any feelings of anxiety or fear that might arise during the process of transformation. As you navigate these changes, it's essential to remain patient and open to the unfolding process. Sometimes, understanding the full scope of God's plan takes time. The journey might not always be straightforward, and there may be moments of doubt or confusion. However, maintaining a posture of trust and patience can help you stay aligned with God's will and remain hopeful about the future. Ultimately, the goal is to recognize and embrace the transformative journey as part of God's greater plan for your life. By being aware of the signs of change and seeking God's guidance, you can move through these transitions with confidence and faith. Remember that every season of change is an opportunity for growth and renewal. And it's through these experiences that we often come to understand more deeply the purposes God has for us. In summary, seasons of change and transformation can be challenging, but they are essential parts of our spiritual journey. These changes, while sometimes difficult to comprehend, are integral to the larger plan that God has for our lives. The restlessness you might feel during these times is a sign that God is leading you towards something new and significant. By staying open to these signs and seeking God's guidance, you can navigate these transitions with confidence and faith, knowing that each step is part of a divine design. Embrace the changes with trust, patience, and a sense of purpose, and you will find that these seasons of transformation ultimately lead you to a deeper understanding of God's plan and a more fulfilling path in life. Sometimes, we find ourselves facing the frustration of closed doors in our lives. These closed doors can take many forms, from missed opportunities and relationships that don't work out to goals that seem to slip through our fingers. At first glance, it's easy to see these closures as setbacks or failures. We might feel disheartened and confused, wondering why things are not unfolding as we had hoped or planned. However, it's crucial to recognize that closed doors are not always signs of bad news or failure. Instead, they can often be an indication that God is redirecting us towards something better and more aligned with His plan for our lives. When faced with a closed door, our instinct might be to try to force it open, believing that if we push hard enough, we can make things work. This approach, however, is not always the best course of action. Instead of struggling to open doors that seem firmly shut, it is more beneficial to take a step back and spend time in prayer. Seek wisdom and understanding from God about why this particular door has been closed. Trust that God's plan is unfolding, even if it is not immediately clear. This period of waiting and seeking guidance is essential in helping us to accept and embrace the new direction that God has in mind for us. It's important to remember that God's plan is often far greater than our own. While we may not always understand the reasons behind the closed doors, we can find comfort in the knowledge that God's wisdom surpasses our own. He knows what is best for us and is guiding us toward opportunities and experiences that will ultimately benefit us in ways we might not yet comprehend. Trusting in this divine guidance can help us to remain hopeful and open to new possibilities that God is preparing for us. In addition to dealing with closed doors, we might also encounter moments of unexpected connections with people or situations that seem to occur by chance. These so-called coincidences are often more than just random events. They can be seen as divine connections orchestrated by God to help us on our journey. For instance, a chance meeting with someone might lead to new opportunities or insights that we had not previously considered. Similarly, a random conversation might provide the encouragement or advice we needed to move forward. It's easy to overlook these moments as mere happenstance, but recognizing their significance can be incredibly valuable. Paying attention to these divine connections allows us to understand how God is working in our lives and directing us towards the next steps we need to take. By valuing these interactions and seeking to understand their purpose, we can align ourselves more closely with God's plan and make informed decisions about our path forward. Even when everything around us seems uncertain and challenging, we might still experience a profound sense of peace. This peace is not the same as the temporary calm we might feel during less stressful times. Instead, it is a deep, abiding sense of calm that comes from trusting in God's control over our lives. It means that, despite any confusion or difficulties, we can still find tranquility in knowing that God is leading us towards a new chapter. This kind of peace is a powerful sign that God is actively working in our lives. It reassures us that, even in the midst of change, God is guiding us and providing us with the comfort and strength we need to navigate these transitions. Embracing this peace can help us remain grounded and focused, even when we don't fully understand the changes happening around us. As we move forward, God may encourage us to let go of old, limiting beliefs and embrace new opportunities. These old mindsets can often hold us back from reaching our full potential and achieving the goals that God has set for us. The process of growth might require us to step out of our comfort zones, explore new skills, and take risks that we had not previously considered. Embracing these changes is essential for our spiritual and personal development. It allows us to reach new levels of understanding and capability that align with God's broader plan for our lives. While it can be daunting to venture into unfamiliar territory, it's important to remember that these steps are part of God's plan to help us fulfill our potential and live out the purpose He has designed for us. Another significant aspect of change is the separation from toxic relationships and negative influences. These relationships can have a detrimental effect on our well-being and spiritual growth. When God is moving us to a new level, He may remove us from unhealthy relationships that could hinder our progress or lead us away from His plan. This separation can be a painful process, as letting go of relationships and influences that we have grown accustomed to can be challenging. However, it is essential to trust that God is guiding us towards a better place. He will provide us with new, positive connections that will support our growth and help us stay aligned with His purpose. These new relationships will contribute to our spiritual well-being and assist us in navigating the path God has set before us. One of the most exciting signs of God's guidance is experiencing supernatural provision and new opportunities. When doors close, it is often a precursor to new doors opening that bring unexpected blessings. These blessings can manifest in various forms, such as new job opportunities, financial assistance, or unexpected relationships that come into our lives. Such provisions are clear indicators that God is at work, orchestrating events to ensure that we have what we need to succeed and thrive. Embracing these opportunities with trust and gratitude allows us to move forward with confidence, knowing that God is providing for our needs and guiding us towards a brighter future. It is important to remain open and receptive to these blessings, as they often come in forms that we could not have anticipated or arranged on our own. In summary, closed doors in our lives can initially feel discouraging, but they often signify that God is redirecting us towards something better. Instead of trying to force open doors that are shut, we should seek God's guidance through prayer, trusting that He has a greater plan for us. Unexpected connections and moments that seem like coincidences can also be divine indicators of the path we should follow. Additionally, experiencing a profound sense of peace amid uncertainty, being willing to let go of limiting beliefs, and recognizing the removal of toxic relationships are all signs that God is guiding us through a transformative period. Embracing supernatural provision and new opportunities with gratitude allows us to move forward with confidence, knowing that God's plan is unfolding in our lives. By remaining attentive to these signs and trusting in God's guidance, we can navigate life's changes with faith and optimism, fully embracing the journey that God has prepared for us. Divine intervention is a profound and extraordinary occurrence where God steps in and alters the course of events in a way that transcends ordinary human understanding. These moments are characterized by changes that defy natural explanations, highlighting the involvement of a higher power in our lives. One notable example of divine intervention is the story of the widow of Zarephath and Prophet Elijah, a narrative that beautifully illustrates how God's intervention can transform a dire situation into one of miraculous provision and hope. In the story, during a time of severe drought and famine, the widow of Zarephath was struggling to provide even the most basic necessities for herself and her son. Her situation seemed hopeless, with no apparent means to survive. Yet, when Elijah, a prophet of God, arrives and asks her for food, she faces a dilemma. She has only a small amount of flour and oil left, enough for one last meal before she and her son expected to perish. However, at Elijah's insistence, she uses the last of her provisions to make a meal for him. Miraculously, her resources do not run out. The flour and oil continue to provide, sustaining her and her son through the entire drought. This intervention by God not only saved their lives, but also provided a powerful demonstration of God's ability to sustain and support His people in seemingly impossible circumstances. This story serves as a powerful reminder that, even in our darkest and most challenging times, divine intervention can reveal God's active presence and His capacity to change our circumstances in ways we could never imagine. When faced with seemingly insurmountable difficulties, these moments of divine intervention remind us that God is continually watching over us and has the power to transform our situations for the better. It underscores the importance of maintaining faith and hope, even when the path ahead appears bleak or obstructed. When we are experiencing a divine shift in our lives, one of the first signs is often a noticeable alignment between our actions and goals with what we perceive to be God's will. This alignment goes beyond merely fulfilling personal desires or ambitions. It involves a deeper connection to what God wants for us. During these times, we might develop a stronger sense of purpose and a profound desire to live in a way that pleases God and contributes meaningfully to His work on earth. This sense of purpose helps guide us through any challenges that arise, providing direction and motivation even when the journey becomes difficult. Understanding that our goals and actions are in harmony with God's will helps us stay on course, knowing that we are supported by divine guidance. As we advance to new levels in our spiritual journey, we may experience a significant increase in boldness and courage. This newfound boldness mirrors the transformation experienced by Peter, who, after receiving the Holy Spirit, became a fearless leader and advocate for the early Christian church. Similarly, we might find ourselves overcoming fears and doubts that once held us back. This courage is not a product of our own strength, but a reflection of the Holy Spirit's power working within us. It enables us to confront obstacles and pursue the calling God has placed on our lives with confidence and resolve. As we move forward, expect to see yourself tackling challenges with a newfound sense of bravery and determination, knowing that God is elevating you to new heights. Taking a leap of faith is another crucial aspect of embracing divine shifts. It involves stepping into the unknown with complete trust in God's plan, even when the path ahead appears uncertain or risky. This leap of faith often requires making decisions that might not seem logical or safe from a human perspective, but are guided by a profound trust in God's overarching plan. Just as Abraham obeyed God's call to leave his homeland and journey to an unfamiliar land, taking a leap of faith involves overcoming personal fears and uncertainties. By doing so, we align ourselves more closely with God's will and open ourselves up to the blessings and rewards He has prepared for us. Although this step can be challenging, it is essential for positioning ourselves according to God's divine plan and experiencing the fulfillment of His promises. A deepened intimacy with God is a significant indicator of spiritual advancement and transformation. As we grow closer to God through regular prayer, meditation, and reading His Word, our ability to hear and understand His voice becomes sharper and more discernible. This intimacy enhances our capacity to discern God's will and guidance, preparing us for the next steps in our spiritual journey. Developing a close relationship with God is crucial for navigating the changes and challenges that come our way. It ensures that we remain aligned with God's direction and are adequately prepared for what lies ahead. This deepened connection provides us with the clarity and strength needed to face new challenges and embrace the changes God is bringing into our lives. Recognizing and understanding the signs of divine shifts are fundamental for our growth and transformation. Even if we have not previously noticed these signs, becoming aware of them allows us to better follow God's plan for our lives. These signs might manifest in various ways, such as changes in our goals, unexpected connections, or a growing sense of peace despite challenging circumstances. Being sensitive to these signs and open to embracing change is essential for aligning ourselves with God's purpose. Instead of resisting or fearing the shifts, approach them with trust and confidence, knowing that they are integral to God's plan for you. Embracing these changes with an open heart allows you to navigate your spiritual journey with grace and assurance. In summary, divine intervention represents a powerful demonstration of God's ability to alter our circumstances in ways beyond ordinary understanding. The story of the widow of Zarephath and prophet Elijah illustrates how God's intervention can transform seemingly hopeless situations into opportunities for miraculous provision. As we experience divine shifts in our lives, we may find our actions and goals aligning more closely with God's will, gaining boldness and courage, and taking leaps of faith that require trust in His plan. A deepened intimacy with God further enhances our ability to discern His guidance and prepare for new stages in our spiritual journey. By recognizing and embracing these signs of divine shifts, we can remain confident and hopeful, knowing that God is actively guiding us toward His greater purpose.